Welcome to the We Inspire Futures podcasting project. This is JL coming to you with enthusiasm. This week, I had the opportunity to Skype with husband and wife duo Julie and Patrick Johnson from Barrie, Ontario. Patrick teaches grade 1 full-time and Julie teaches a 7-8 split at the same school. Listen as we discuss how technology, mainly blogging, Twitter, and gaming, matter differently for both teachers. Anyway, so I went to your blogs, and wow, I love how current they are, and I love how you're, it seems as if you're speaking to the community. If you could tell me a little bit about what your blog does to kind of keep the parents in the loop, and why it's so valuable for you to do that.
I found with our community, I think something's changed is, first of all, the amount of parents that are online now. In the last couple of years, like just a huge change in that. And being a parent myself, I mean, really it's, it comes down to what's going on in your child's classroom, because it is so hard to figure that out. And certainly we both still struggle with that as far as our own children's go. And I think for us, it's just, or for myself, it's just a really easy way for parents to ask their child what they did at school and ask them questions, because they could actually see it on the blog. And I guess when I first started blogging, it was kind of like I'd kind of write an update once a week. Done a lot of short blogs, like I've done 112 so far this year. And a lot of it just happens to be like pictures. And I mean, not pictures of kids, because I don't go there. Just pictures of, like, for example, like anchor charts or work that we've done or art that we've done. We've been doing some nonfiction writing and research. So I think today or yesterday I put up a picture of an octopus and a link to the National Geographic Kids site, and then I also put up a photo of a mind map / word web that we did to sort the information that we did research from. So I guess for me, blogging and sort of connecting to parents is all about, again, sort of the daily occurrences that go on in the classroom, what they could ask their child about. And even from the beginning of the year, like the week beforehand, I did a little video tour of my classroom, and then you link it to the school site, and you'll find there's about 5 or 6 parents who already went on and showed their kids their the video tour of what the classroom looked like, to ease nerves. And it's a really neat way to bring mom and dad into the classroom, and again, just that whole sort of premise of what's going on, this big mystery of school. What are they actually doing? What are they actually learning about? What could I ask them? It is hard to get that information out of them.
When you just ask them directly.
Yeah.
The group that I'm with, this grade 7-8, I've got 31. 21 are boys. They lack a lot of strong learning habits. So for me to send a newsletter home, it's just not going to make it. It's not going to make it there. But I even thinking back to parent night that we had in September, and the number of comments of parents, I called it blog love. They loved.
Yeah.
They loved the blog, and I had that up when they came in too, and was showing them all about it and explaining all the things that were on there. And some of them were like, I've read every single inch of what you've written there, and I had lots there about my teaching philosophy and where I was coming from, and links for learning, and I update it pretty regularly. And again, my main part of it is for parents and the communication about what are we doing exactly. Also to show off student work. Also share with other educators, because I'm also pretty involved in the Twitter teaching community. So a lot of times I'll go on there and say, we did this project, and then I'll link to it, and then someone will be like, oh, that's a great idea, or whatever. I get lots of ideas from Twitter too, in reverse.
Yeah, and vice versa.
So, but it's often a way for me to share. So with parents, with other teachers, the intermediate teachers in my school, we all decided to do Facebook pages.
With a very supportive administration.
We're also all on each other's Facebook page, so it's very open that way. Yeah. Only the class joins it, so I don't have all their friends on there or anything like that, and it's strictly related to classroom. It's monitored by me as well as the other intermediate teachers, and it's but I do post on there, so then they know that the blog's been updated, and then sometimes they'll make a comment about it or contribute something, because I do lots of YouTube stuff in my program, so they'll be like, hey, Mrs. J, see this one, or so we get some talk commentary about things. So definitely the blog and the Facebook
page.
It's
also a lesson in digital citizenship.
What is the Twitter community made of, and how did you find these people on the? You call it a teaching community.
Yeah, there's still a lot of, I think, I don't want to say ignorance with Twitter, but a lot of people think it's just misconceptions. Thank you. It's about people, what they ate for lunch, and I think that's the most common one. It's again really a place to sort of talk with people you wouldn't necessarily get to talk with.
I'm trying to remember how we found them all, but
well, I think you started off with we found a hashtag called EdChat. And basically being able to participate in that Twitter discussion, and then sort of finding like-minded people to start following, and also with
and then they follow you back, and then you post something, and then they write you and say, "Wow, that was cool," and then they post something, and then you to their blog, and it just kind of grows from that.
Yeah. Well, you also find that it's like, oh wait, there's a lot of Ontario teachers here, right? And then so you have those sort of local talks, or I'm involved with like First Chat, so a whole bunch of grade 1 teachers, and every week they have a different topic. And if I don't know how to do something, I put it out to my Twitter followers, and if they don't know, they'll retweet. So maybe Julie might retweet something I have, a question about, some practice or whatever, or software question, or something to do with teaching, and she'll retweet it to her, 1,500 followers, and it becomes almost like a personal education search engine of people.
Like, I consider Twitter one of my main professional development arenas. I eventually found a teacher librarian in Toronto, and I can't quite remember, it was again sort of accidental that you come across some people because you have shared interests, I guess. And we ended up doing a inter-school Wii tournament as a social skills program. So this was someone I'd never known except through Twitter. So our group of boys, because it was primarily a boys program, would then play their group of boys. So we both ran concurrently this sort of social skills group based around gaming. And then as a kind of a final celebration, we actually also met and did a tribes activity through Skype as kind of meeting each other, and then we did this sort of final celebratory inter-school Wii tournament, and then we wrote an article about it. So that was completely someone who's Ontario-based, but I never would have met her otherwise. When I was a search, I pulled together, I called it a junior intermediate boys literacy event, where I had 2 male writers. They actually run this website called Guys Can Read, where they write book reviews and also video game reviews for guys. So they were my guest speakers, and I met them totally through Twitter. And then if you go onto my class blog, you will have seen that I've had guest speakers. Some of them have been local, like sort of the old-fashioned way, where I met a newspaper reporter. But then also I had Skype conversations, and these were writers. So if you go back a bit, you'll see Kevin McGill, who is the writer of a young adult novel. So he's an awesome speaker, but he also did a video game review, and I tied this all into our own review writing, which was how I also brought in the video games, because we played games, critiqued them, and wrote opinion pieces on them. So basically multi-paragraph essays supported by evidence and all this sort of stuff, but around gaming. So I kind of sneaked the learning in there by using popular culture and technology. I've put some examples of their work online. I've got an online writing portfolio, and
also just the idea of being published, right? My grade 1s, we did at least a couple of we did some research on Titanic and a couple other topics, and we turned it into a podcast and put it onto our blog, right? And they just loved just to hear themselves, hear their work online, and hey, look, I'm online, I'm on our class blog. So
I don't think I would have got the writing if I would have gone more traditional. I also gave choice too, right? With this particular group of kids who are not interested particularly in writing and reading, I call it sneaking the learning in there. I kind of sneak it in by appealing to their interests, and I don't know what I'd do without the tech piece.
The technology inspires us and helps us to be excited about our jobs and collaborate and build together. That's the way of the future. I hope you've enjoyed this We Inspire Futures podcast with Julie and Patrick Johnson. The description includes all blogs mentioned. Please collaborate with us. What are your thoughts about blogging, Twitter, and gaming in the classroom and beyond? We'd love to hear your voice.